10 Canadian dishes you must try. Want to savor the best Canadian food the Great White North has to offer? From centuries-old soups to decadent desserts, here are 10 truly iconic Canadian dishes, and the best places in the country to find them. 1. Poutine. One of the many culinary gems to come out of French Canada, poutine is perhaps one of the most outlandish and definitive Canadian dishes. Several small towns in Quebec claim to have invented this celebrated dish, or side dish, and it's said to date back to the 1950s. A real poutine uses peppery meat-based gravy and squeaky curds on fries. If you're up for a real celebration, there are also annual poutine festivals in cities across the country. 2. Canadian bacon. What's known in our country as Pimel bacon is branded as Canadian bacon just about everywhere else. Unlike traditional bacon, which comes from the pig's belly, Canadian bacon is lean pork loin that's been brined and rolled in cornmeal. During the turn of the century, Canada would export its pork to England, which was experiencing a shortage. At the time it was rolled in yellow peas for preservation, though over the years, that switched to cornmeal. Want to cook bacon like a true Canuck? Avoid these mistakes everyone makes when cooking bacon. 3. Caesar. Invented in 1969 by Calgary restaurant manager Walter Chell, this cocktail took off to become enormously popular from there. Clamato maker Mott's claims more than 350 million Caesars are sold every year. Its key ingredients are Clamato juice, vodka, Worcester and a salted rim. If you end up enjoying a few Caesars too many, this roundup of the best hangover cures from each province will come in handy. 4. Beaver tails. What's essentially a flattened donut without a hole, beaver tails are heralded as a quintessential Canadian dish. The recipe was handed down in Graham Hooker's family for generations, but it wasn't until 1978 that he started to introduce it to a wider audience. A year later, he opened his first Beaver Tails outlet in Ottawa to dole out the treat, which can come topped with sugar, Nutella and a variety of other sweets. 5. Canadian pizza. Sometimes it takes a fresh set of eyes, not to mention taste buds, to help us understand what makes a dish truly Canadian. Take Canadian-style pizza, for example, which is perhaps best defined by the menu at Rontalski Canadian Pizza Inn, of all places, Berlin, Germany. How did a German pizzeria end up making a name for itself with pies inspired by the Great White North? It turns out one of the owners did a high school exchange in Peterborough, Ontario, where he was impressed with the local pizza. 6. Butter tarts. The origins of this rich, delectable and quintessentially Canadian dish can be traced back to the late 19th century. Consisting of a delicate, crumbly crust and a creamy center made of a butter, sugar and egg mixture, there's constant debate over whether raisins should be added to the mix. 7. Nanaimo bars. This rich tri-layered dessert bar is made of crumb mixture, vanilla-flavored butter icing, and melted chocolate. Its exact origin has never been confirmed, though a 1952 recipe for a chocolate square can be found in a book called The Ladies' Auxiliary to the Nanaimo General Hospital. A year later, a cookbook was published with what's believed to be the first recipe under the name Nanaimo bar. 8. Pea soup. To mark the 400th anniversary of French explorer Samuel de Champlain's travels, Ottawa chef Marc Miron became inspired to research what nourished him and other inhabitants when they settled in their new land. Turns out, they can be credited for inventing split pea soup, a classic French-Canadian food. The explorers used cured meats and dried pea that were intended to last on their long journey, along with vegetables cultivated from their new land. The result is a Canadian dish that has lasted centuries and is still thoroughly enjoyed today. 9. Tortilla. Here's a deep-rooted French-Canadian food that dates back to as early as 1600. The flaky pie is said to have gotten its name from the vessel it's baked in. Tortilla is typically filled with ground pork, beef, veal or game and a sprinkling of herbs and spices, though in some coastal towns ground fish is used. The hearty meal is most commonly consumed at Christmas and New Year's, though Quebec grocery stores keep it stocked year-round. 10. Ketchup. On everything. While it's not so much a dish as it is a condiment, there's still something inherently Canadian about ketchup. Of course, there are ketchup chips, a winning snack here but completely unheard of stateside. The same goes with slathering ketchup on Kraft Dinner, another favorite dish in Canada, and grilled cheese dipped in ketchup. The latter is such a popular pairing that it was chosen as a winning flavor by Lay's after they asked customers to come up with a new potato chip flavor combination.